Hello and welcome to Stender Painting. In today's video I'll show you how I made this wet and muddy autumn base. If you are following along at home, I recommend that you make several bases at once because it will take several hours for this clay to dry that I'm using in this video. Other than that, if you like it, like the video, leave a comment and let's begin. To begin this project, I'm taking some white glue which I have thinned down with water, and using a dirt cheap brush I'm applying this all over the base. And next up I'm grabbing some modeling clay. This dries as it comes in contact with air, but it takes several hours, so you have plenty of time to work with it. And I'm just pressing it down on the base and make sure it fills the entirety of the base. Like so. And then I'm just grabbing my hobby knife and cut around the excess. And if you don't use gloves, I recommend that you use wet fingers instead, so you can remove your fingerprints and smoothen it out. And after this stage, let it harden for about 3 hours before we can continue. 3 hours came and went, and as you can see, it's about to harden as it's changing color. Next, I'm going to add some Vaseline all over the base. This is to prevent the texture roller to stick onto the mud, or the clay I should say. So just add this all over the base like this. We'll wash it off later. Like so. And then I'm grabbing my texture roller. This one in particular is a mud themed texture roller, and I got this from Temu, but I know that Green Stuff World sells a lot of these in different kinds and variants and for different game systems and so on and so forth. But this video is about making a mud base, so this is the one I'm going to use. I'll put it down at the bottom here, apply some pressure and just roll it over. Like so. And then I'm going to cut off the excess with a hobby knife. And at this stage I would add the miniature to the base and also maybe some details like a skull or a Space Marine helmet or a broken sword, whatever you'd like. And use some cement glue for it to stick to the clay. And with that, I'll give it about, I'd say, a minimum 8 hours to dry. So I'm leaving this overnight and get back to you tomorrow. Then we are ready to paint this thing. After 8 hours, I decided to wash off the Vaseline with soap and water and let it dry 100% before we can prime the base. When the base was completely dry, I decided to prime it in Wraithbone. And that's because I'm going to use a contrast paint now, Garaghak Sewer. But of course, if you have a miniature on it, it's difficult to use this color unless you want to prime your miniature in Wraithbone as well. In that case, I recommend that you prime the color that you want and then use the Wraithbone to paint over the base afterwards. And anyways, I'm adding this all over and letting it dry completely before I continue. I really like this color. It seems very, well, muddy to me, which is the intent. With the contrast paint dry, I'm next adding a dry brush with Tallarn sand. Next it's time to add some Tufts, and the ones I'm using is from the Marshland set made by GamersGrass. It comes in 4 colors, which are all pretty much dark, and I think they're very appropriate for this kind of base. So just grab them with your tweezers and apply them directly onto the base. I'm just adding a few. One more. Like so. And next up I'm adding some thinned down white glue in various places of the base. Just about 5 or 6 places on a base of this size. And that should be fine. And then I'm going to grab some autumn leaf litter made by Green Stuff World. And with a pair of tweezers, I'll apply them to the glue. And now for the fun part, it's time to make it all wet and muddy. And for that I'm using Puddles by AK Interactive. I've added some to my little container here and I'm applying it all over the base, including over the leaves to really seal them to the base and make them look wet. And I'm applying this thinly. It has a greenish tint to it, instead of just a plain water effect. And when you're done, all you need to do is paint the rim of the base. And I'm using Abaddon black, which is my preferred one, but you do whatever you like, of course. And with that, our wet, muddy autumn base is complete. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you want to make something similar, please upload it to Instagram and tag me at Stender Painting so I can see your work. Of course, it does take many hours to make such a base due to the clay having to harden, but if you do an army project with the bases like this, please make 5, 10 or even 20 bases at the same time. So with that, thank you for watching and happy painting.